بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. Say الحمد لله رب العالمين. Let it come deep from your heart. والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين. Say صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back. It is the daily reminder. I ask Allah to inspire us the guidance. اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا وقنا شرور أنفسنا. Ya Allah, inspire us the guidance, protect us from the evil of our souls. Ya Allah, grant us sincerity. Allahumma ameen. Today's daily reminder, we're speaking about a ibadah. This ibadah, I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying that this is the most important ibadah. It's the most important ibadah. And without this ibadah, no other ibadah is accepted. It's a condition for the acceptance of all other ibadah. Without it, all the other ibadah will not be accepted by Allah. Any act of good that you do will not be accepted by Allah if it lacks this ibadah. See how important it is. I'm giving you clues now. Try to guess it. Guess the ibadah that we're talking about today. Through this ibadah, people distinguish in levels in dunya and in akhirah. Through this ibadah, people distinguish in levels. This ibadah is an internal ibadah, min ibadat al-qulub, from the actions of the heart. We're talking today about Ikhlas, al-Ikhlas, sincerity, the importance of Ikhlas, the meaning of Ikhlas, the virtues of Ikhlas. In addition to that, we will learn also how to achieve Ikhlas. We will learn also what to do to know, or how to know that you are a sincere person or not. Are there any signs, any thermometers through which I can figure out if I am sincere or not? We will learn this inshallah. Listen attentively and try to understand and take notes. قيدوا العلم بالكتابة. And consider this time while you're listening inshallah, consider it a time for Allah. Consider it a time for seeking knowledge. من سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. Anyone who seek a path of knowledge, Allah will give him a path to paradise. One day, I'll start with this short story just to encourage you to listen attentively inshallah. One day, Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu, one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, towards the end of his life, he was living in Sham, in Syria, Damascus. And one of the ashab of the Prophet, one of the companions of the Prophet from Medina, he traveled to Damascus to meet Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu. And we reached him, he said, Abu Darda, he greeted him, and he said, I came to hear from you one hadith. I heard that you learned one hadith from the Prophet ﷺ about this and this and that. He asked him about the hadith. So he said, did you come from Medina to Damascus, about 1,000 kilometers, just for this one hadith, or you coming for something else? You coming for tijara, for business? Are you coming for business? Are you coming? He said, no, I'm not coming for anything except for this hadith. I want to authenticate and listen and see if you heard this hadith from the Prophet ﷺ or not. Just to learn this hadith. Did you came for this one? He said, only for this one. So he informed him the hadith, and he said to him that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said and promised, anyone who seek a path of knowledge, Allah will grant him a path to Jannah. Make your intention inshallah. Be sincere. You're listening attentively so that you can learn the deen. Now, click of a button, you listen. You don't need to travel for a far distance. The knowledge is coming to you. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Coming to the subject, ya ikhwan. Ikhlaas niyyah. Ikhlas means to be sincere, doing things for Allah, speaking for Allah, working for Allah, everything. قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين. Say my life, my death, my rituals, my ibadah, everything that you do supposed to be for Allah Azza wa Jal. ألا ترى إلا الله. Some of the definitions of our ulama says Ikhlas, that you only see except Allah. You don't see, you only see Allah. In everything you do and everything you say, always Allah Azza wa Jal. You're doing it only for Allah and solely for Allah, and you deal with Allah. You're not dealing with the people. You're dealing with Allah actually. That's Ikhlas. And this is what makes people distinguish in levels. Maybe someone is doing little bit of good deeds, but at the account of Allah, this person is greater and in higher ranks than another person who's doing so much of good deeds, but the quality of the Ikhlas is not there. The quality is so important. Someone is making salah for years and not a single rak'ah accepted. And someone is making salah but is not doing so much of nafil salah or anything, but it is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The narration says, maybe two people are making salah next to each other. Maybe two people making salah next to each other. And the difference between the salah of this one and the salah of this one is like the difference between the heavens and the earth. What is that? As-sirru fil ikhlas. The secret is in ikhlas. طيب. This ikhlas, we said, يتمايز به الناس. People will vary in levels because of ikhlas. This is one of the virtues of sincerity. بالإخلاص يا إخوة, it is شرط لقبول العمل الصالح. It is a condition of the acceptance of عمل الصالح. العمل الصالح, acts of good deeds. There are two conditions for their acceptance. Learn them. Listen attentively. The first one, al-ikhlas. For the good deed to be accepted by Allah, it must have ikhlas. It must be done for Allah. If it is not done for Allah, it's not going to be accepted. If you didn't do it for Allah, why you expect a reward from Allah? You didn't do it for Allah. You should do it only for Allah. Ikhlas niyyah, make intention. Sincerely for Allah, not for fame, not for show off, not for people to praise you, not for any gains, not for any earnings, only for Allah. That's a sign that your action is accepted. The second condition is as-sihha. As-sihha means correctness, to be accurate, to be salih, for the good deed to be accepted, for it to be good actually, for what you're doing to be good. And who decides whether it's good or bad, what is good and what is bad? Allah Azza wa Jal. Good is what Allah said is good. Bad is what Allah said is bad. According to Quran and Sunnah, that's the good. So your amal salih must be in accordance with Quran and Sunnah, together with sincerity. These are the two conditions for the acceptance of al-amal as-salih. طيب. We mentioned also that with ikhlas, from the virtues, listen to this one, from the virtues of ikhlas, tuftah laka al-futuhat. Allah open the doors of khair for you. You start certain good deed for fi sabilillah. Allah knows in your heart there is khair. In your heart you want to make ta'aleem. In your heart you want to build a masjid. In your heart you want to help here. In your heart Allah can see through. Al-qalbu mahattu nadar al-Rahman. The heart is where Allah Azza wa Jal is looking. Inna Allah la yanzur ila siwarikum wa la ila ajsamikum walakin yanzuru ila qulubikum. Allah does not look at your outer appearance. Allah doesn't look at your name, your authority, your lineage, your color, all of that. Allah looks into your heart. Allah can see through. Al-qalbu mahattu nadar al-Rahman. At-taqwa huna, here. All these are indications. Allah is looking here. So what happens? If Allah sees here there is good, in your heart there is khair, Allah will give you khair. Fix this one, Allah will give you khair. Allah will make it easy for you because in the heart you want to do khair. إِن يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ خَيْرًا يُؤْتِكُمْ خَيْرًا. The reference, the proof from Quran. If Allah sees in your heart there is good, Allah will give you good. Understand this very well. Fix the inside. That's why al-ikhlas min a'mal al-qulub. It's a secret action from the actions of the heart. Only Allah can figure it out. Only Allah can see and evaluate the ikhlas in your heart. And a'mal al-qulub muqaddamatun ala a'mal al-jawarih. These actions of the heart are prioritized above the actions of the physical actions. Why? Because the physical actions won't be accurate and correct without a'mal al-qulub, the internal actions. Understand, ya ikhwan? طيب, what else? From the virtues of ikhlas, anything you do for Allah sincerely, it will remain forever. ما كان لله دام واتصل. Anything you do for Allah, for the sake of Allah, it will increase and it will be connected and it will be bigger. And you can ask those people who started many good deeds for Allah or many things for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care of it, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them because of it, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept it for them till the day of judgment. Those amal al-salih will come sealed in the day of judgment. Sincere. The person was sincere when he was doing this good deed. That's why it is sealed for him on the day of judgment. طيب. What else ya ikhwa? Sincerity, this ikhlas, Allah Azza wa Jal, whenever he used to distinguish the prophets also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that they were sincere people. إِنَّا أَخْلَصْنَاهُمْ بِخَالِصَةٍ. Allah says, we chose them because of their ikhlas and sincerity. In the Quran also Allah says, إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ. He is among our sincere servant. وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ مُوسَى إِنَّهُ كَانَ مُخْلَصًا. Mentioned in the book Musa, he was sincere. Allah always spoke like this in the Quran about his prophets. They were sincere to Allah. And because of that sincerity, distinctions, Allah Azza wa Jal make people love them. Allah make people attached to you because of your sincerity. Because you love Allah. because you love the deen of Allah, because you love people around you, because you have khair in your heart. You want to do khair. Your heart is sincere, free from shirk, free from evil, free from hasad, free from envy, free from ill feelings. This is the heart that Allah wants. This is the sound heart. This is the sincere heart. Now listen to this virtue. I think virtue number 7 or number 8. We said we're going to mention about 17 virtues of Ikhlas before we start speaking about how to achieve Ikhlas and about how to figure out if we are mukhlisin or not. So listen attentively, inshallah. From the virtues of Ikhlas, ya ikhwa, Shaitan can defeat everyone except the mukhlisin, except the sincere people. Shaitan can't get closer to the sincere people. Shaitan can't get inside the hearts of the sincere people. And this is what Shaitan himself said. And Allah mentioned that in the noble Quran. Quoting the Shaitan. قال فبعزتك لأغوينهم أجمعين إلا عبادك منهم المخلصين. That Shaitan was saying, by your might and power, I am going to mislead everyone. And he was taking a qasam by Allah. That Shaitan, the cursed one. He said, I'm going to mislead everyone. As if he was challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إلا عبادك, except your servant, your sincere servant. Only the sincere servant, I have no ability to get closer to them. The sincere servant are sincere. Those are the special people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan can't get closer to those people. We will try, but he'll fail. Yani he'll try with everyone. Shaitan tries with everyone, of course. Shaitan tries to mislead everyone, including the mukhlisin. But he doesn't succeed with them. Shaitan doesn't succeed with the sincere people. Always fail with them. Always fail with the sincere people. You can't help, can't do anything. But you try, of course, to misguide the sincere people and to make the intention goes this side or that side, but you always fail with the sincere people who insist and persist on sincerity. They'll always be successful people. طيب, what else, ya ikhwa? With your sincerity, when you are sincere, when you are mukhlis, your dua get accepted. Try and make dua with sincerity for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and only for Allah. Your dua is reaching immediately. دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين. Allah mentioned about the story of those people who were not mu'mineen. They were not believers. They were kuffar. Completely not Muslims even. And when they were in the ocean and the wind came and the waves became so big, and then what happened? And then those people, they realized that they're going to drown. They called upon Allah, mukhlisin, sincerity, complete sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if you save us, we're going to worship you alone. And Allah saved them. And then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved them, they returned back to kufr. They returned back to worshipping idols and worshipping others beside Allah. But the sign here, or the reflection here, is that with sincerity, your dua is accepted immediately. Your dua reached the target fast because of your sincerity. And there is a story, a short story, of those people who were in a cave. The story says that it's a true story, authentic story. And the Prophet is the one who narrated the story. He said 3 people were walking in the desert, and then the rain fell on them. So much of rain. Sail. And then it started making rivers around them, and they were about to drown. So they started looking for some shelter. They found a cave. They went into the cave. In a mountain. They went into the cave. As they were in the cave, a huge rock fell from on top of the mountain and blocked the entrance of the cave. They tried to push it. They couldn't push it. Tried hard to push the stone or that rock. They couldn't. So what happened? They remained for some time and started thinking how to get out of it. They knew and they realized that they can't come out of it except by making dua to Allah. So they said, let each one of us remember some of the good deeds that he did sincerely for Allah. Something that you did sincerely for Allah in the past, and call unto Allah using that. We call it at-tawassul bil-amal as-salih. Asking Allah using the good deeds that you do, that you used to do, or that you are doing. So each one of them started to remember some of the good actions he did in the past. One said, I had parents and my parents, Ya Allah, I had parents and my parents were so old, and I used to give food to my parents before I give food to my children. And Ya Allah, if you know that I did this sincerely for you, sincerely, Ikhlas, for you, then help us to come out of this. So the rock moved a bit. The rock, but they couldn't come out yet, but it moved a bit. So the second one started to recall an incident, and the third, and making dua to Allah, and the third one until the rock fell, and they managed to come out. But the lesson here is that sincerity can save you during difficult times, and that sincerity is a reason for the istijab of the dua. When you are sincere and you call unto Allah, your dua get accepted. Any dua you make it with sincerity, it reaches to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immediately. Understand, ya ikhwa? طيب, what else from the virtues of Ikhlas? All the ibadat, all the rituals that we are doing, salah, zakah, sawm, hajj, etc. All of them to teach you Ikhlas. All of those, the main essence of them is sincerity. The main essence of them is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. Why are you doing it? Ibadah. Ibadah for who? For Allah. Only for Allah. Making salah only for Allah. Not for anyone else. Only for Allah. Zakah for what? Supposed to be only for Allah. Hajj for what? For Allah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. No one beside you. Only you. All the ibadat teaches you ikhlas. Sincerity. Understand, ya ikhwa? That's from the virtues of sincerity indeed. طيب. What else? What else, ya ikhwa, is that including, I'm mentioning now some acts of good, including hijab, for example. Sister that wears the hijab. Why are you doing it? For Allah. Only for Allah. Maybe people saying this, saying that, but I'm doing it only for Allah. You start to enjoy the ibadah because you know the reward that will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the virtues that will come from Allah when you are sincere for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, what else, ya ikhwa? The ikhlas will make you reach the level of ihsan. Ikhlas will make you reach the level of ihsan. والإحسان أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه. The meaning of ihsan is that you worship Allah as if you can see Him. So you do things as if you can see Allah in front of you. So that brings what? It brings the ikhlas to your heart. Allah's watching me. I'm giving this cup of water to some poor person. Allah's watching me. It is for Allah, right? That's ihsan. You do things, it makes you reach this high level of iman. That's al-ihsan. That you worship Allah as if you can see Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب, what else? The ikhlas will make you achieve in little time what others may take years or decades to achieve. In little time, you achieve. Your life is so prosperous because of your ikhlas. Because of your ikhlas, your life is so prosperous. Someone is 40 years and mashallah did so much of khair, so much of goodness, learned so much, Allah gave so much of barakah, all this because of his ikhlas and sincerity. Understand? The ikhlas will make you achieve in little time what others might take in years or decades that may reach at the age of 60 or 70. You already reached at the age of 40 or 30. Like that. And we can mention names of so many salihin, so many pious people throughout history. In very little time they achieved greatly. Why is that? I'm talking about achieved for the deen, achieved for the ummah, achieved for themselves also. Achieved greatly because of what? Because of the sincerity for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayyidina Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He accepted Islam at the age of 30. Listen to this. He accepted Islam at the age of 30. And he got martyrdom. He passed away as a shaheed in one of the battles at the age of 37. So how many years he stayed in Islam? 7 years. 7 years in Islam. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he mentioned about the virtues of Sa'ad radiallahu anhu. He said when he passed away, on the day Sa'ad radiallahu anhu passed away, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said 70,000 malaikah attended his janazah. 70,000 angels attended the funeral of Sa'ad radiallahu anhu. Allahu Akbar. 70,000 malaikah. The Prophet never mentioned this to any other sahabi. Right? And not only that, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, اهتز لموته عرش الرحمن. The throne of Allah was shaking for the martyrdom of Sa'ad radiallahu anhu. What did the Sahabi do in 7 years to receive all of that, all these virtues? In 7 years, what did he do? Al-Ikhlas, السر في الإخلاص. The secret is sincerity, ya ikhwah. Sincerity can make you at a very high standard by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in a very high status by Allah Azza wa Jal. And sometimes the person himself doesn't realize. Sometimes the brother or the sister doesn't realize how valuable he is by Allah. Sometimes you don't realize. You think, I'm very little, I'm so small. I'm not doing so much of ibadah. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Others are doing better than me and I want to do. But they don't realize that the amount of ikhlas in their hearts already put them on top. Already put them in a very high level. One of the Salihin spoke about Ahmad ibn Hanbal radiallahu anhu, the Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Imam al-Madhab, the great Imam, one of the 4 madhab, al-Madhab al-Hanbali, famous in Saudi Arabia and Arabian Peninsula, etc. This madhab al-Hanbali. So one of the Salihin spoke about him and he said, I've never seen a janazah like the janazah of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. I've never seen a janazah that has millions of people attending his janazah except the janazah of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. And he said, I don't think what Ahmad ibn Hanbal reached is because of his salah and because of his ibadah. It's because of something between him and Allah. The amount of sincerity in his heart that made him reach to this position that millions of people attending his janazah. Understand? So Ikhlas can make you reach so high by Allah Azza wa Jal and achieve fast in a very little time. What else from the virtues of Ikhlas? Ikhlas will make you enjoy ibadah. Listen to this one. Make you enjoy ibadah. You make salah with Ikhlas, you enjoy it. You give zakah with Ikhlas for Allah only and only for Allah, you feel it. Allah put the sweetness of Iman in your heart. You taste the sweetness of Iman because of your sincerity. Because you're only doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. Allah spoke about those who used to give food for the sake of Allah, and we used to give the poor people. They say to them, we give you for the sake of Allah. We don't want from you any reward in return, and we don't want even to say thank you. It's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people, if you don't say thank you, say, don't you say thank you? How come you didn't say thank you? Right? They start asking you, we do it for Allah. Whether people praise you, they don't praise you, I don't care. I did it for Allah Azza wa Jal. I'm not expecting anything from people. And this is one of the signs. We'll speak about it towards the end. Listen attentively. One of the signs to know if you are sincere or not. أَلَّا تَنْتَظِرَ الْجَزَاءَ مِنْ أَحَدٍ. Don't wait for people to reward you, or to praise you, or to give you something in return. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next virtue, ikhwah, is the Ikhlas will turn the customs into acts of worship. Ikhlas, when you are sincere, يحول العادات إلى عبادات. Ikhlas will transform the daily actions, which is not ibadah, not necessarily worship, acts of worship. It will become acts of worship because of sincerity. That's the virtue of Ikhlas, one of the virtues of Ikhlas. For example, you're going to work every day. Every day you wake up, you go to work, right? That's aada. I'm accustomed to that. I have to do it, right? You can or you can't take thawab based on your sincerity. If you are sincere for Allah Azza wa Jal, and your niyyah is there, your intention is there, sincerely for Allah, that you go there so that you can secure money and income for your family and food for them. And Allah Azza wa Jal let you in charge of your family, to support them, to spend on them. And you do this sincerely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to take care of your family. You get thawab for every single time and minute you spend at work. It will transform the aada into ibadah, the custom into an act of worship. You can transform your sleep into an act of worship. You sleep every day, it's accustomed to, I have to do it. It's natural, I have to do that. Okay, but if you sleep understanding that you rest your body, which is an amana by Allah, and you make this niyyah, and you sleep earlier, you can wake up for fajr, for ibadah, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that aada, that custom of sleeping can become an act of worship. You get thawab for every minute you're spending there sleeping. You see? With sincerity, the aadat, the customs, can become ibadat, acts of worship. And without sincerity, the ibadat can become customs. Vice versa. It'll go around. If you lack sincerity in any ibadah, in any act of worship, that act of worship will be, even if you're doing it, it will be a custom. But you're not going to get thawab. I'm making salah every day, but I'm just a custom. Everyone is making salah. Going to the masjid on Eid day, everyone is going there. I have to go. Fasting Ramadan, my entire family is fasting. Right? The ibadah becomes a custom. You get no thawab. Why am I not doing it for Allah? Yeah, just because everyone is doing it. So that becomes a custom. So you lack sincerity, you lose the thawab. You add sincerity, you make the aada, the custom becomes an act of worship. طيب. What else? From the virtues of sincerity, تأخذ ثواب ما لم تفعله. You can take the thawab of things that you didn't take, you didn't do. You get the reward of things that you didn't do even, because of your sincerity, because of your intention. You get the thawab of the things that you didn't do, but you wish to do, you want to do. You started, but you couldn't finish. You get the thawab of that. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ said. إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. There are so many references to this, proving that actions are measured according to intentions. You make intention, you couldn't finish the action, but you made the intention, you get the thawab of the action. طيب, what else? من اعتاد التهجد. You got accustomed to make tahajjud, and if you slept one night and you couldn't stand up for tahajjud, but you are accustomed to do that, and you have an intention before you start, sincerely before you sleep, that you're going to make tahajjud, and you slept, you get the ajr of tahajjud still. You get the thawab of what you didn't do, even though you didn't do, but you had sincerity to do. You want to give charity to help some poor people, to take part in this building of this masjid, the building of a school here, etc. And you did something in the beginning, and you wanted to to complete it, or if you say to yourself and to Allah that if I have the means I would have given for that, Allah give you the thawab of that. Because of your sincerity, you can achieve what you didn't do, even what you did not do at all. Understand, ya ikhwa? The Prophet ﷺ spoke about certain Sahaba who did not reach or did not go out with the Prophet for some of the battles. So he said, Inna fil Madinati rijal. In Medina there are some people there. With wherever we walk in the battle, wherever we walk on the road, we are getting thawab and they're getting similar thawab. The Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, they are staying there in Medina and we are here in the heat of the summer and they're getting thawab like us. He said, yes. حَبَسَهُمُ الْعُذْرِ. What stopped them is the udhr. What stopped them is that they were excused. They wanted to come. They wished to come. They were trying their best to come, but they were compelled not to come. Something compelling happened, and after they tried their best and took the first steps, etc., and something compelling happened, it didn't go. Someone intended to go for Hajj and did all the footsteps and everything, all the steps, and something he didn't get the visa, for example. You get the ajr, even if you stay there. But you did already whatever in your capacity. It didn't work, khalas. Alhamdulillah, I got the thawab. You intend to go visit a sick person and your car got a puncture on the road as you stopped. You get the thawab still. For everything. So you get the thawab of the things that you didn't do because of your sincerity to do it. You get the thawab of it even though if you didn't do it. Understand this virtue? طيب. What else, إخوة? Al-Ikhlas يحفظك. From the virtues of sincerity is that it will protect you. Protect you from what? Protect you from evil in dunya. Protect you from haram. Protect you from temptation. Protect you from every harm, spiritual or physical. Ikhlas will protect you. And this is also evident in the Noble Quran. About Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah Azza wa Jal said, كَذَلِكَ لِنَصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ وَالْفَحْشَاءَ إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Said, thus we're going to turn away evil and harm out of the path of Joseph, peace be upon him, for indeed he was among the sincere people. For with sincerity, Allah Azza wa Jal push away everything out of your path. All the distress, all the trouble, it's a sincere person. This is the special person of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Understand, ya ikhwa? Allahumma ja'alna min al-mukhlasin. Now coming to the alamat, the signs, the thermometers, how to figure out if you are sincere or not. I speak always in bullet points. Listen attentively, inshallah. Number one, al-khabi'ah. You love to do things in secret. If you find yourself loving to do things in secret, that's a sign that you are a sincere person. You don't like people to know about. تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا. The life of the year after, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we're going to make it for those people who don't want that fame and big names and popularity and this and that. I don't want corruption in the land. They know their target and they just walk. Alhamdulillah, people praise me, people talk about me, against me, I don't care. Just focus. My Allah Azza wa Jal is number one in my life. Pleasing Allah is number one. My main priority in life is to please my Allah Azza wa Jal. So number one is hiding things. They do lots of hiding things. You find yourself doing lots of hiding good deeds in secret. You don't want anyone to know about it. You are a sincere person, my brother. You are a sincere person, my sister. The second thermometer. Your actions will not differ in front of people or in secret. In secret or in front of people, your actions are the same. It doesn't change. Some people, when they're making salah in front of others, you find their salah is different. When they make salah all alone, so fast, up and down, knock the ground. But when they make it in front of people, they start adorning their salah and taking so much of time and the Prophet warned of that. He said, إِنَّ مِنَ الشِّرْكِ الْخَفِيِّ أَنْ يُزَيِّنَ أَحَدَكُمْ صَلَاتَهُ لِمَا يَرَى مِنْ نَظَرِ النَّاسِ إِلَيْهِ. It is considered shirk. Part of small shirk is that you adorn your salah just because people are looking at you. Lack sincerity is not going to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not for Allah then. You do it for the sake of people. They came one day to some of the brothers who was making salah, and they saw him making salah very nice and taking long time. Sujood, khushu', it's everything. So after he finished, he said to him, wow, mashallah, you are doing so much of beautiful salah. I've never seen salah like this. And I'm fasting too, he said to them. And I'm fasting too. Akhi, do the good deeds, don't tell anyone about it. I read 3 juz today. How many juz you read? I recited this. I made my adhkar today, so many. Between you and Allah. If you start speaking about it, you're going to lose it. You're going to find yourself stopping it. Stop doing it. Do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't mention it. Do the khair. The Arabs say, اعمل الخير وارميه البحر. Do the khair and throw it in the ocean. Don't tell anyone about it. خبيئة between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So your action of doing the good deeds, it won't differ whether in front of people or alone, right? Whether in public or private. It's the same. That's a sign of sincerity. If people praise you or they don't praise you, you're still doing the action, whether people praise you or they don't praise you. That's a sign of sincerity as well. We spoke about it before. لا تنتظر الأجر. You don't wait for the ajr. You don't want for reward from people. You don't wait for it. You don't anticipate it even. That's a sign of sincerity, right? المزاحمة والمسارعة. Hurling to do the good. Hurling to do. You see a good deed, you immediately start catching it. You try to do it fast as possible. That's a sign of sincerity. You wait for it and you do it. Allah Azza wa Jalla himself in the Noble Quran spoke about this sign. إنهم كانوا يسارعون في الخيرات. From the signs of the believers, the true believers, the true servants of Allah, the sincere servant of Allah, إنهم كانوا يسارعون في الخيرات. They used to hurl in doing good. Whenever they find an opportunity for khair, opportunity to help, opportunity for sadaqah, they immediately take it. They don't make the sweep. They don't think twice. They don't think twice. They do the khair immediately. Maybe that opportunity won't come again. You see an opportunity for khair, they consider it like and Allah sent it to them. Allah sent me this opportunity and I can do it. Let me do it. They don't think twice. Helping someone who's in debt, paying for someone certain expenses that he can't do. Your Muslim brother, your family members, ya ikhwa, sometimes our own families are in need of support. You do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take it immediately, like Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. In the morning, walking with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and other companions, and the Prophet asked, أيكم تصدق اليوم بصدقة? Who gave a sadaqah today? Abu Bakr said, me, myself. In the morning, still in the beginning of the day. أيكم عاد اليوم مريضا? Who visited a sick person today? He said, me, Ya Rasulullah. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. He said, أيكم تبع اليوم جنازة? Who followed a janazah today? They were still in the morning. The Sahaba started looking at each other. He said, me, Ya Rasulullah. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, the same man. He was hurling to doing khair all the time. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ما اجتمعنا في امرئ في يوم إلا أدخله الله الجنة. These things, these good deeds, when a person is cautious or is motivated to do them, all in one day, this person enters Jannah. It's the amount of sincerity in the heart. He wants to do as much as he can from khair. المسارعة. طيب. What else? Al-istimrariya. From the signs of your sincerity, that you are a sincere person, constantly doing the khair. Al-istimrariya. Al-daymuma. You do it not only once and forever. Khalas, finish. No. That person loves to do more and more and more and continue the legacy. Continue. If you're supporting the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, continue support. If you are doing some good deeds here to some Muslim family, just continue the support. If you are making Salatul Tahajjud, continuously doing that Salatul Tahajjud, reciting Quran every day. Al-istimrariya is a sign of sincerity. Those who are not sincere, they walk on one line and they pass the other line like this. No, the sincere believers, they go straight and they continue. They don't give up. Even at the time when they weak, they still stay on the line. They stay on the line. They don't deviate out of the path. Al-istimrariya, continuity. It's very important, a sign of sincerity indeed. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أخلص أحد لله 40 يوما إلا ظهرت ينابيع الحكمة على قلبه ووجهه. And narration says that whenever someone is sincere for 40 days at least, wisdom will appear on his face and on his heart. Allah start giving him wisdoms because of the sincerity. We want to do things for Allah Azza wa Jal only. طيب, what can help us to achieve Ikhlas? So we reached to the last point inshallah today, is what can help us to achieve sincerity. There are certain factors, certain important points and tips to help you to be a sincere person. Number one ya ikhwa, is to call unto Allah. Pray unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم اجعلنا من المخلصين. اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك المخلصين. اللهم إنا نسألك الإخلاص. Like that. The dua for Ikhlas. And the dua to protect you from lacking sincerity. From shirk. الشرك الخفي. Right? اللهم إني أعوذ بك من أن أشرك بك شيئا أعلمه وأستغفرك لما لا أعلمه. The Prophet ﷺ taught us this. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this way. طيب, what else يا إخوة that can help you also to achieve Ikhlas? Reciting Surah Al-Ikhlas. Did you know that there is a surah in the Quran called Surah Al-Ikhlas? Surah Al-Ikhlas, the surah that is famous as قل هو الله أحد. Say, Surah قل هو الله أحد. Everyone know قل هو الله أحد, right? قل هو الله أحد, الله الصمد, لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Recite this surah is called Surah Al-Ikhlas, the surah of sincerity. Ikhlas means sincerity. Reciting this surah one time, it is equivalent to reciting 1/3 of the Quran. Reciting it one time is equivalent to reciting 1/3 of the Quran. What if you recited it 3 times, as if you have recited the whole Quran? Get accustomed before you sleep. Recite Surah Al-Ikhlas 3 times. Recite the whole Quran. Ajr, reward, because of the surah is called the surah of sincerity for that. قل هو الله أحد. Allah is the one and only. Allah Samad, the only one that we turn to Him for our needs and for our difficulties and for anything. لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Understanding the surah also is so important. Understanding the attributes of Allah in the surah is so important. And reciting it with tadabbur, with tafakkur, will give you sincerity. What else? Sadaqat al-sir. Giving sadaqah in secret. Don't tell anyone about it. Don't mention it to anyone. Ibadat al-sir. Doing ibadah in secret, such as tahajjud salah, salat al-duha. Right? Some charity in secret. Some help for the deen in secret. Khabi'ah. And don't tell anyone about it. The pious predecessors used to do the good deeds and don't tell even their families. They don't even tell their wives or their spouses. They do it only for Allah, between me and Allah. Let there be between you and Allah some khabi'ah, some hidden good deeds. That's a sign of your sincerity. Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah says, Allah fi islah al-sarair. Fix the inside. As-sirru fi ma khafiya. The secret is in what is hidden. The ikhlas is hidden in the heart. The secret is there. What is hidden in the heart, this can fix everything. They say الذنوب الخفيات أسباب الانتكاسات وعبادة السر أصل الثبات. He says the hidden sins is the main reason for the person deviating out of the path of Allah. And when you do ibadah in secret, when you do good deeds in secret, don't tell anyone about it. This is the sign of steadfastness on the path of Allah. Makes you steadfast on the path of Allah. So let there be some ibadah in secret. No one knows about it at all, between you and Allah. It is mentioned that Imam Abu Hanifa al-Mazhab al-Hanafi, he used to have a dukkan. He was a seller of silk. That was his business. So in his dukkan, he's sitting and reading Quran, etc. And then when he sees some customers are coming in, he hides the Quran. He doesn't want anyone to see that he's reciting the Quran. Like that. The Salihin used to hide their good deeds, not to anyone. No. They don't want anyone to know about it. They don't want anyone to know about it. Right? And like that person, Fatih Tustur, in the conquest of Tustur, the enemies, they went inside the fort and the Muslims couldn't come to them. Whenever they get closer to the walls, they get shot. So some of the soldiers, pious soldier, he used to at night, he hide and he get closer to the wall and he start digging a hole there. And then when it's Fajr time, he hides everything and he goes back to the ranks of the Muslims. And then the next day he did the same thing. The next night he did the same thing until he made a big hole that can fit him. And then he went inside and he opened the door for the Muslims and they came in. But he was doing all of this while he's disguised. He was disguised. No one knew who did that. So the commander generally, after the Muslims achieved victory, he asked the whole army, who was the one who opened the gate? No one came up. Please tell me who's the one. No one. He took a qasam. He said, I take a qasam by Allah that the person who opened the gate for us and made the hole, let him meet me by my tent. So that person, to fulfill the qasam of the Amir, he disguised himself again and he went at night to the commander general. And he said to him, the one who, inna sahib al-naqb, the one who dug the hole, he has 3 conditions before he speaks. So he figured out that he is the one. So he said, what are the 3 conditions? He said, you mustn't ask him about his name. He said, all right, granted. He said, number 2, you mustn't give him any reward. You mustn't give him any reward, any physical reward. He said, all right, granted. He said, the 3rd one is that you mustn't ask him to take out his mask. He said, all right, granted. He said, I am the one. So he praised him and he thanked him and he made dua for him, and he used to make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal after that to resurrect him with that person who dug the hole, because of the amount of sincerity in his heart. Allahu Akbar. أخلص النية in everything. The next point is to make niyyah before doing anything. Before you do any good deed, ask Allah, Ya Rab, accept it from me. Ya Allah, make it sincere for you. Ya Allah, make this for you only. Ya Allah, pure my intention. If you know that I'm doing this sincerely for you, give me ability to do it like this. Talk to Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب, what else يا إخوة? Also from the helpful tip, as-sawm, fasting. Fasting also will help you to achieve sincerity. Al-khulwa means to be in seclusion with Allah. No one knows about you. In seclusion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at night or in a daytime, etc. And you're worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a sign of sincerity. Salatul layl, night prayer. All this is what? Signs of sincerity, and also some of the means that will make you achieve sincerity, inshallah. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us among the mukhlaseen. Say Ameen. May Allah make us among the mukhlaseen. May Allah make us among the ibad of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the true sincere servant of Allah. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. I hope that you enjoyed. Jazakumullah khairan. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.